Alright, so enough with random intro. We're doing another RPG today. Specifically, this is going to be a dungeon crawler. It's called Tin Helm by Jason Glover, featuring illustrations by Jason Glover and Daniel E. Walthall, if I'm reading that correctly. It's all in this little tin, which is why it's kind of a cute name, Tin Helm. This is actually based off of another game also made by Jason Glover called Iron Helm, which is a larger version and maybe something we'll play in the future. The backstory behind this sort of little blurb is the Brotherhood of the Red Cloth long made their home deep in the abandoned mines of the Black Mountains, but a sickness came upon them as they delved too deep, and their minds have been twisted, and their attention has shifted to creating wicked evils. Darkness now lives here, and only a true hero can cure the madness that has consumed all. It's only for one player, so it's a solo game, and it takes about 30 minutes. So let's open it up. What we have here are 2 dice, and we're going to be using these throughout the game. A lot of different cards, some of these little plastic markers, and I'll explain how we use those in a second once I get them all out. Let me move those to the side for a bit and start sorting these cards. These first things are location cards. These are places we're going to be visiting. Don't worry, I'm not going to go over the rules too much because I will teach you as we sort of go along. I'm just going to do a really quick shuffle just to make it good enough. There's going to be an enemies deck, which I'm not going to show you yet. In fact, it's not randomized. The enemies you are fighting are actually deterministic, but I want it to be, I guess, sort of a surprise as to who we're fighting in a second. So we have locations, we have enemies, we have here loot, stuff that we can collect, make our character stronger, use them in our adventure. And here are some more items that come with the starting character. But first, let's continue on setup. So this, the game comes with rules. There's also a YouTube channel made by the designer Jason Glover where he teaches the entire thing. But they also have these double-sided rules that you can look at. And what we're looking for is this, which is a setup card, which will teach us exactly where to put everything. So let's do this, and then hopefully my camera is set up just the right way so that I can capture everything. But I will sort of angle it such that that's the case. Move this up a little bit. Move these here. What am I missing? I'm missing my character. Which maybe I'll put this a little to the right. Maybe move this up here. Change the setup a little bit here, that's fine. And then we're going to put characters here. Now, there are a combination of races, the merfolk, the human, and the crawling, and the gnome. And on the back, there are also classes. So you'll pick both a race and a class. You'll pick one of these, and then you'll pick one of these. So notice that means each race can only play one of 3 classes. So the gnome cannot play a marauder. which is kind of an interesting trade-off. Instead of choosing a class, I'm gonna just shuffle these randomly. I promise there's no way you can verify this, but I'm not actually looking at them. I'm gonna stop. That's a gnome. So we're gonna play the gnome. I'm gonna put him right here. And now we're gonna flip these over. There are 3 different classes. I'm gonna shuffle these. Shuffle, 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 shuffle. I just really like the sound of shuffling cards. Alright, and this is a foot pad. So I'm going to put these other cards aside and show you what these 2 things do. So on your race character, or sorry, on the race of the character you're playing, you're going to see there's HP, there's energy, there's this weird symbol which is supplies, and each race has a special ability, and we'll talk about that in a second. We also have a class which will also add to our HP and add to our energy. We're going to start with weapons or things that befit our class. And so we'll get that set up, and well, actually we'll do that right now. And this is where we're going to use the plastic cards. So first of all, the game consists of 5 dungeon levels. We're going to start at level 1, and the farther we go in, the more dangerous it's going to get. The total HP where we have, which is located right here, is going to be the sum of the hit points of our character, as well as the hit points added by our class. So that's 6 plus 3, that's 9. So let me put it on 9 right there. Let me rearrange this a little more, just so you can see on this super scuffed setup. The gnome is sort of a special character because it will start out with 1 supplies, so not all classes and races start out with supplies. But supplies you can sort of use as an expendable resource. I'll talk about them in a second, I suppose. Favor is, I guess, how much of a good character you are. I'm going to put these 3 little purple things here. These are shards, which we're going to need to collect. I'm going to put an enemy HP bar here. And last but not least, I'm going to do energy. So I have 9 energy here, 3 energy here, and that's a total of 12 energy. Now if you're like, what in the world are you doing? Don't worry, all will be explained in time. We start out with a dagger and a toolkit. So I'm going to put these things here. Let me actually put them up. So these are items. So our dagger is going to help us in melee combat. If we choose to resolve a dungeon card, the first dungeon card, I will inflict additional damage. Explain what that means, what it means by encountering dungeon cards. We have a toolkit. I can try to disarm it, and it looks like this is in general a pretty good thing to do because I either take normal damage or no damage. There's a chance, of course, we take double damage, but there's got to be trade-offs involved with everything. And then we got a loot deck and an enemy deck. I'm just going to put that a little bit out of reach over here, but that's okay because they don't actually matter that much until we actually draw cards. These are more trappies. We can put that over there. Okay, so how does this game actually run? We've more or less set up. We have a deck here of a bunch of different rooms, and these rooms are depicted sort of in the tabletop format, you know, with these little grids. And if we were playing an actual RPG, we would be moving along them, and maybe we'd have little figurines for monsters, and we'd fight monsters on the grid. And they obviously are parts of this dungeon that we're exploring. There are also these markers at the bottom, and they indicate what you encounter in that room. So for instance, this means that there's a trap, which you will encounter first because we're going to go from left to right, and then there's a treasure chest. Now the thing about this game is you will first look at the first card in this sort of map deck, only look at it, and if you decide, hey, I actually don't want to encounter this, I don't like it, you can go to the next card, encounter this, and what you'll do is you'll flip over this first card, and this will tell you exactly how to resolve this. So this one has an enemy card and a campfire, and so we would look at the enemy here, and it would say, okay, you're going to fight this enemy, and then you can go to a campfire, which is a sort of a standard card, which shows up right here. Anyways, that's getting a little ahead of ourselves. Similarly, if we did want to encounter this, we could keep this card, put it here, and then flip over the next card. And then, so it's, you have basically two draws. You can't see the other card, so you have to kind of guess at what would happen, and then you resolve one or the other. Anyways, that's the basics of the game. Let's literally just start, and we'll learn more as we go along. But first, let me pull out the combat cards. Okay. So here we have a statue, which is going to say there's a trap and a treasure chest. Now, we actually know what the second card of the... Well, I actually don't even remember what the second card was. All I remember is it had an enemy. But I'm going to encounter this because as the footpad, kind of a thiefy, brigandy, trap disarming type, it's actually good for us too, or we're better at encountering traps. So we're going to pull this out, flip this over. I'm going to start, maybe put this up here. I'm going to start building a map of our dungeon exploration. This says we encounter a trap that will do 2 points of health damage. Remember, this is our health. But we have this special toolkit which says we can try to disarm it. So let's do that. We got this dice. And we're going to just roll. Well, you guys couldn't see that, but it was a 4. And since we have a 4, that means we take no damage. So we always resolve from left to right. So now we're going to encounter the treasure chest, and this card is exactly going to tell us what we pick out from the loot deck, which is a wedge. So let's go out and take that right now. Da 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 da. Get out the wedge card. And what this is, it says is we can discard this card to avoid combat with an enemy. And we're just going to put that in our inventory, and we can use it whenever. So we've resolved both of these cards. We're going to reuse these map cards later as we go down the dungeon, which we represented up here. So I'm just going to put this here. Now we have another choice. We can go into the quarters and encounter an enemy and then a treasure chest, or we can flip over to the next card, but let's continue and use this quarters. We're going to flip over the sewers card. I'm going to start constructing our little map here. Notice how the artwork of the cards is such that you can sort of angle them together and build out this really cool map and sort of tell a story if you're into that. So we're going to encounter an enemy character, the Watcher. So let me pull him out. Pull out the Watcher. Pull out the Watcher. And what we're going to do is we're going to try to defeat him. So let's look at this guy. He has these stats. And he says before we even fight him, we're going to lose 1 energy. I still haven't taught you what energy does, but let's just lose 1 energy right away. He has 4 HP as a base stat, but we're going to add the level of the dungeon to his HP. So 4 plus 1 is equal to 5. I'm going to put this here. So this represents the total amount of the HP of the monster we're fighting. Now, we're going to fight him right away. We've already taken 1 energy and damage. What we're going to do is we're going to roll 2 dice. Now, in fact, because we resolved the first card, what this dagger says is, excuse me, we actually do an additional damage on a successful hit, so we're going to do slightly more damage if we're successful. How does energy work? Well, we have this sort of weird looking table here, and there's in each grid we can expend an amount of energy. The first one is we can expend 1 energy to do basically 2 damage on a successful hit. We can expend 1 energy. We can expend 2 energy here to add 5 damage to a successful hit, or we can expend 3 energy to do 7 damage. So this guy has 5 HP. I'm doing 1 additional damage. We still haven't explained how damage works, but we'll just activate, quote unquote activate, the two energy here. Go down to 9. Go down to 9, go down to 9, go down to 9. And we're gonna roll. So I haven't explained what this does, but it'll become kind of clear. And we roll 2 numbers, 5 and 2. Now we're not going to add them together. What we're actually going to do is subtract the higher number from the lower number. So 5 minus 2 is 3. I've expended 2 energy to do 5 additional damage. So I do 3 plus 5 is 8, plus my dagger is 9, so I do 9 total damage. This guy has 5 total health, which we've placed here, so 9 minus 5, that's more than enough. And so he dies. So to sort of recap, we take the difference in the die and we add the energy modifiers, basically how heavy you're striking them. And then, the rest of the modifiers that you have. I forgot one rule. We did 9 damage, he has 5 HP, but he also has 1 defense, so it would be 9 minus 1, which is 8 damage, not 9, sorry. I'm probably going to make a lot of mistakes. Now that we've defeated him, what do we gain? Well, we gain this Ankh symbol, which is favor. That means we're going to gain 2 points of favor. And this basically means is glory or divine favor from some sort of god or something. It's whatever you want to interpret it as, but this is going to help us in the game with sort of little random events. Anyways, so we're building a little map. We've just did our little attack and counter, and now we get a little loot item that we can pick up. So let's do that. And we get a net. And what does this say? This says, when resolving a location with a water icon, you may roll 3 times instead of 1. Each success gets you 1 food. Food is basically supplies. I will explain the supplies as we get to them, but we're getting a lot of items here, which is cool. You have a waterfall, and this exactly has supplies, so maybe let's actually literally resolve it right now. So we're going to resolve this. We're going to flip this over. And this says, first of all, we're going to encounter an altar. So let's continue building this little thing. So an altar, there are several locations, which are recurring locations. This is one of them. What does the altar do? It says, you can gain a blessing from the altar based on your current level on the favor tractor, or on the favor track. We have 2 favor, so we basically just gain 1 health. But we're already at maximum health because that guy didn't even get a chance to attack us, so nothing happens. We also get to do this little water symbol. What the water symbol is basically we get to roll. Let me see if I can find it. Basically, we get to, well, it doesn't say it here, but we get to roll. And if we roll a 5 or a 6, we get food, which is a supply. But we have the gill net, so it's not, we don't only, not only roll once, which is what normal characters do, but we can roll 3 times. So we got a 4. That's not a success. We need a 5 or a 6, a 5 or a 6, a 5 or a 6, a 5 or a 6. do is every time you descend into the dungeon, your character needs supplies. And if you don't have supplies to feed them, they can't. You take damage. Supplies can also be used at any time to increase your energy or your health. So we've done these. There's a corridor with a trap and a random event. I'm going to resolve the next one instead. So we're going to flip this over and resolve the old well. So we're going to fight a monster. Which monster are we going to fight? We're going to fight a spider. So let's pull the spider out. Ugly looking thing. Sorry, that was rude. He's not ugly. He's doing his best. Yes, he starts with a base 3 HP. We're on level 1 of the dungeon, so that goes up to 4. He has 4 total HP. And another thing is, unless stated otherwise, we always get to attack first. So now what do we have to do? We have to decide how much energy to attack with. Let's go down by 1 energy. Just do the sort of basic attack. Go down from 9 energy to 8. We're going to roll, and you remember how we do our attack roll. So we're going to look at the difference between the higher number and the lower number. So what's 4 minus 1? Well, that's 3. 3 plus 2 is 5. He has no defense, so that doesn't modify anything. He has a total of 4 HP, so 5 minus 4, that's an overkill, and he's just dead. So we put him back into enemy tech. But that's basically all this game is. Now you might wonder, how do we win? Well, there are these things called shards. We need these shards, all 3 of them, in order to win the game. If we go, if we lose all of our HP, we lose. If we go and finish the 5th level of the dungeon and we haven't found all 3 shards, we're sort of corrupted by the dark powers that have consumed this place, and we become a monster. I imagine, so that would not be a good result. So let's not have that happen. Now we're going to have this other water icon again, because we're in this sort of well location with these little weird, ugly, wispy tendrils or Lovecraftian horrors. So let's roll 3 times to get our supplies up. See if we're lucky. Roll the 2, that's not great. 2 more times. Roll the 5, so that is a success. Move our supplies up. I'm going to roll 1 more time. 1 more time. That's a 3, that's not a success. So I'm going to put this, I'm going to keep constructing our little map. It's going to be cut off a little bit, but that's okay. And there's 2 more locations, or there's 4 cards here, but since we need to flip 1 over for each location, that's a total of 6 rooms per level. So there's a clearing, and this clearing is going to have a bonfire, but I don't think we want to resolve that, so I'm going to flip this over. Oh, and then we're going to fight a Skelipede. So let me pull the Skelipede out. Skelipede. Right here. Starts out also with 4 HP. And let's just get to attacking. I'm going to do a normal energy attack, so I'm going to go down by 1, go to 7. Let's just roll. So I rolled a 6 and a 2. So a 6 minus a 2 is a 4, plus 2 is 6. So again, an overkill. So he just dies. Oh shoot. I have not been increasing my favor. That's not great. I've already been making mistakes. Oh boy. So let me just double check what I've previously done. So I fought one guy here. I think that was the only thing we fought so far, right? So it might not be a big issue. It was like, got a chest here. The waterfall. What happened with the waterfall? The waterfall was like an altar or something, right? But we fought the Watcher, the Skelipede, and a spider. Why didn't we fight the spider? Oh, the spider was the last one, so it should be a spider and Skelipede. So, what did I do? What did I make a mistake on? Well, this guy gives me one favor. Let me look at the spider. He gives me also one favor, so let me just move that up. So a total of 4 favor now. And next we're gonna look at the shrine. Let me pull the shrine. Oh, okay. So notice in the face of this skull, there's this little crystal. We're gonna take this crystal, and we just need 2 more. Wow, that's great. We're already off to a pretty good start. So that's done. Now this is going to be a little bit cut off. You'll just have to use your imagination for how this sort of continues. But we have one more thing remaining. There's a chasm with a monster on it. I'm going to skip this. I don't want to fight the monster. But instead we get a trap and a monster. So let's look at the trap. The trap is going to make us lose 2 energy. But we can try to disarm it because of our toolkit, so let's do that. Well, we got a 6. So this does not make us lose our energy. Excuse me. And there's a wraith, so let's fight a wraith. Pull out our little deck. Pull it out. Look for the wraith. And what does this wraith do? Well, every time it successfully attacks us, it's going to make us lose 1 favor. Do I want to use 2 energy or 1 energy? I think I'm going to use 1 energy, so I'm going to move down on my little energy tracker. Gotta get better at this ASMR thing. I'm still an amateur, so don't be too critical. Now, unfortunately for us, whenever you roll the same number, that means you miss and you do no damage. But that's also intuitive, right? Because 5 minus 5 is 0. But even then, you do not add any of your energy. You straight up just miss entirely. So we miss. Actually, let me set up this guy's HP. So he has 5 base HP plus the dungeon level, which is 6. So we're going to go up to 6. And he's going to attack now. So let's roll for his attack. And this is the first attack that we've faced this entire game from a monster. Well, he also rolled double 5s. Wow, that is pretty rare thing to happen. So he misses as well, and because he misses, we don't take this favor damage. Actually, let me put this guy down here, I guess. So let's attack again. I'm going to go down to, well, he has 6 HP, so should I, what's my average roll here? The average distance between my rolls is a 3? That seems not right. I'm not good at probability. Let's go down by 2, go down to 4 energy, and see what happens. That might be too much energy to go down, but that's okay. So I did 5 minus 3 is 2, plus my damage of 7, and he had 6 HP. He has no shield, so yep, he's dead. So that's great for us. And we go up by 2 favors, so we go up to 7. Alright. So what did we do? Well, we started out our dungeon in this sort of, in this statue area. Maybe that's what lured us to this dungeon in the first place. And as we went past, we investigated the quarters and fought some monsters before going into a waterfall area connected to an old well, and it's cut off, but catacombs and a sanctum. But that was the first level. we're going to advance the dungeon level. Now we're on dungeon level 2. And as we get deeper, we get hungry, so we have to eat. So we're going to go down 1 on the supplies counter, because we have to do this. And if we can't, we lose HP. We're going to take all of our little map cards, shuffle, shuffle, shuffle them up, and begin anew. So let's shuffle. I must say, I really like the art of this game. I know art like this has kind of had a resurgence in recent times. We're in such a great time for board games and RPGs. Get this sort of old style, not quite advanced Dungeons and Dragons art, like, you know, the OG D&D stuff, but it's, you know, black and white, monochrome, kind of grim, very classic dungeon delving, dungeon crawling, monsters and skeletons and swords. But yeah, anyways, that was a digression. So we've shuffled our deck. There is a random event here and water. Do we want to do this? Why not? Let's resolve this. So we're going to take this down, flip this, and we're going to fight a monster. We're going to fight a doom skull. So we got a random event that pulled us a doom skull. So let's pull it out, pull it out, pull it out. And this doom skull is going to attack us before we get a chance to attack back. So he starts out with a base of 4 HP, plus 2 now, because we're on dungeon level 2, so monsters are stronger the deeper you go in. But he gets to attack first, so let's roll for him. I'm trying to think, should I discard the wedge? No, I don't need to worry about that yet, I don't think. So he misses because he rolled a double 4. What do I want to do? Do I want to go down? I'm going to do a 1 energy attack and hope we get lucky here. Oh, that's not great. So 2 minus 1 is 1. Plus 2 is 3. He has no defense, so he's going to go down to 3 HP. And it's his turn now. Now it's his turn to roll. Uh-oh, that's not good at all. So 5 minus 1 is 4. We don't have any defenses. So we're just going to take 4 damage. We're at 9, and we're going to go down to 5. And here I'm going to be kind of greedy. I'm just going to use another energy, because I'm very low on energy. And this may be our mistake. But let's see what happens. Come on. What am I rolling for again? I'm rolling double. Okay, I'm rolling double for my attack roll. 6 minus 4 is 2. Plus 2 is 4. And so we defeat it. And we get 1 favor. Let me go up the favor tracker. Put the enemy back in the deck. And now we get a roll for supplies. And let's hope we get some nice rolls. I'm going to roll both of these. Just so. Well, neither of those were a 5 or a 6, which is not great. That's also not. So we get no supplies. That's okay. That's life sometimes. And this is the remaining deck. There's a stash. We're going to just resolve this just so we get the card. But usually one of the things is, you know, if you can sort of guess, as you play this game more and more, you start to remember what's on the card and what's on the back, or more specifically, what's on the back side. I'm pretty sure I know what's on the back side of this, which is another shard. So if we wanted to metagame, I don't think it's metagaming, to be honest. You could resolve the next card and hope you would get a chest card there. But let's just get this. Well, actually, I'll show you what I mean. So we pulled a chasm, so we have to resolve the chasm now. But notice this says if we had drawn a card with a chest, we would have picked up another shard. But now we're going to fight a dark rat. So let's pull out the dark rat. has 2 HP, so it goes to 4 HP because of dungeon level 2. 2 plus 2 equals 4. I hope you know that. If not, that's okay. I don't know what to say about that. I'm also a person. But if we defeat this, we're going to get 1 food. So let's expend 1 energy. We go down literally to 1, which is not great. I'll explain what that means in a second. Actually, no, I rolled 2 dice here. So 5 minus 4 is 1, plus 2 is 3. He has no defense, so he goes down to 1 HP. Now it's his turn to attack. And he does 5 minus 3, or 2 damage, so I go down from 5 to 3. And we're almost dead, which is not great. Now another thing you can do is, I could spend 1 energy to attack here, but you can also expend 0 energy in order to do a guaranteed 1 damage. I'm pretty sure, let me just double check. Yeah, if you have 0 energy, or if you so choose, you may deal 1 damage that your foe cannot defend against. So we're just going to do 1 damage, kill him off, get 1 food, which means move my supplies up by 1, and we're back in business. I think what I need to do, where did I put the deck? Oh, it's right here. What I need to do is sort of start resolving the second one. What I really need is a campsite, which will let me get my HP and energy back, so I'm going to resolve the next card, which is a clearing. So let's put this out. And we have a grove, so let's look at the grove. What does the grove do? So it says we may search the grove for mushrooms. Roll a dice to see how many you get, so let's do that. Pick up some very sus mushrooms. And we rolled a 3, which is 1 mushroom, and each mushroom is 1 food, so we're going to go up our supplies. Oh, I just knocked out my energy, but my energy was at 1, I'm pretty sure. So let's put it there. And we also get to roll a campfire. So what does the campfire do? Well, let me pull it out. We get to choose whether we rest at the campfire and gain 2 health and 1 energy, or we can search for provisions. But because we're the gnome, I guess it was like a hardy adventurer. Sort of knows how to enjoy themselves. We get to do both. So let's move our HP up to 5, gain 1 energy, and we gain a food. So we go up to 4 supplies total. So we have a lot of supplies that we can sort of use. So to back us up here. All right. So here's sewers. I'm gonna also resolve this because we really need some supplies here. And I'm gonna put this here. Might be cut off a little bit. But there's a trap which is 2 damage. But let's just roll. Hope we get lucky. Don't roll 1. Don't roll 1. Don't roll 1. That's not good. So 4 damage. So we go down to 1 HP. Oh, that's what you get sometimes. We get a campfire again. So again, for the campfire, we're just going to move our HP up by 2. Energy up by 1. Supplies to the maximum. So we have a lot of stores of adjustable HP and energy just lying in reserve. And now we get to roll 3 times for supplies. So let me just put 1 supply down and let me show you how it works. So we had 5 supplies, we went down to 4, we expended 1, and I'm going to put my HP up by 1. You can choose either HP or energy to increase. So roll a 3, that's not a success. We need a 5 or a 6, we need a 5 or a 6, we need a 5 or a 6. Last roll, 5 or 6, 5 or 6, 5 or 6. No bueno. But that's how it is sometimes. Alright, we've got the quarters, which have an enemy and a chest. Let's resolve it and see what it is here. Let me array fight a Watcher, and we're not going to get anything from the chest. It's just literally going to be empty. So sometimes that is how it be. That is how it be. So this guy, base of HP of 4, plus 2 is 6. We lose 1 HP against the Watcher before the fight even begins. So that's life. I'm gonna expend 2 energy. I'm not gonna even play any games here. We're just literally gonna go straight up. I'm gonna expend 1 supply. So 2 minus 2 energy is 0, but I used up 1 supply to go up to 1 energy. Let's try to destroy this bad boy. Well, I accidentally rolled it, but that's okay. I'm just gonna leave that there. So we get 2 minus 1 is 1, plus my bonus of 5 is 6, plus my dagger, because we resolved the first card, I think we did, is 7, minus his defense of 1 is 6, he has 6 HP, boom, he's dead. Move up the favorite by 2, because this guy has 2 favor when he gets defeated. So yeah, that's that. And we have 1 more to resolve, which is a trap and a chest. We resolved this in the first, right? We resolved this in the beginning, and I think this gave us a wedge, right? So I'm going to resolve the next one, which is the catacombs. What? Man, my memory is not good. This would have given us a ring. I guess, did I not resolve the statue at the beginning? Oh, right, because I'm stupid. You resolve the other thing. Anyways, Doom Skull and a Grove. So let's pull out a Doom Skull. Doom Skull. Also starts out with 6 HP, so no need to change that. Little Doom Skull. He always attacks first. So let's let him do that. Hope he doesn't mess us up. Or should I? No, I want to save my wedge. I don't want to use it right away. Oh, that's a big hit. 5 minus 2 is 3, so I go down to 1 HP. Alright. And I have 1 supply. I'm gonna go down to 2 supplies, go back up to 2 energy, and I'm gonna roll 2 energy hit. So I would go down to 0 energy, so I'm gonna put that here for 0 energy. We're almost dead, almost dead. Such is the life of an adventurer. 4 minus 2 is 2, plus 5 is 7. He has an HP of 6. 7 minus 6 is overkill of 1, so he's dead. Increase our favor by 1. And yeah, that's it. Although we do also get to resolve the Grove, which if you remember, tell me if you remember. I know you remember. You're great at remembering things. That's one of my favorite things about you. Is we get to roll 2 die. No, roll 1 die. And try to find these mushrooms. Mushrooms, 6. So we found 2 mushrooms, so 2 supplies go to 4. Alright. Shuffle, shuffle, shuffle these cards. I will say card magic and shuffling, and that is one of my favorite triggers. Some magic ASMR, when people do tricks and stuff, is really cool. So let's do this little shuffling. Of course, we go 1 step down into the dungeon level 3. Use up 1 supply, and I'm not gonna lie, we are very close to death. We have 1 shard. We need 3 shards to win. If we were at 2 shards, we might not be able to clutch it out, but we'll see. So we got a clearing. Let's resolve it because it's got a campfire, and we're in desperate need of stuff. So there's a labyrinth, which is, let me see if I can pull it up. Where are you, labyrinth? Oh, it's right here. It's on the other side of this. You find yourself lost in a maze. Spend 1 food to escape. So let's do that. We had 3 food. go down to 2 food. Then we get a campfire. If you don't remember what a campfire is, we gain 2 health. Go up to 3, gain 1 energy, and we gain 1 supply. There we go. Slightly back in business. Alright, there's a statue, a trap, and a chest. Let's resolve it. Trap and a chest. Trap is 1 energy damage. Well, I only have 1 energy, so it makes sense to try to use the toolkit, because even if I lose 2 energy, that's still 0. So I rolled it 2, which says I take normal damage, so well, go back to 0. And I get a chest, which is a turnip. What does the turnip do? If I encounter the pigman, I get to discard this to gain a shard. So this is a cool way you can sort of gain a shard. Or I can discard this at any time to get 3 energy, which we might have to do at a certain point. Who knows? Boom. Waterfall. I'm gonna flip this over and do the next one, which is the quarters. And we're gonna find a Doom Skull, which is not good for us. Doom Skull gets to attack first. Doomy Skull. Pull him out. Doom Skull. So we're on level 3, so this guy has 7 HP. We have 0 energy. Let's just resolve his attack first. See what happens. Well, 6 minus 1 is 5. Let's see. I can use 1 supply. Go down to 2. Go to 4. That's still not 5. I can go down to 1 supply and go down to go up to 5 HP. Or I can just use the wedge. I guess let's do that. I'm not sure if you're supposed to use this before you fight or after you fight. It's not clear to me. But here's the way I'll think about it. Maybe it's more fair if I only use the wedge before he rolls. Like here's my interpretation. We see this floating skull. He really likes cheese. He's winding up his attack. It's a really damaging attack. We know it's a bad attack. It's 6 minus 1. That's 5. He's winding it up. It hasn't hit us yet, but we knew if it were to hit us, it would be bad. But we, in the nick of time, we throw out the wedge of cheese. Yeah. Slightly cheating, but I don't know. I think that's like kind of an edge case. We'll say that's what we do right now. I think my interpretation is potentially valid. I'm not going to say valid. I'm going to say potentially valid. And we pick up a sword. So let's pick up a sword. We are in desperate need of a weapon. A better weapon, that is, than our dagger. So what this does is, whenever you miss in combat, you no longer miss in combat and instead deal 5 damage. So I'm just going to put this down here. Kind of, not, space is at a premium here, but that's okay. There's an old well with an enemy and water. I'm going to skip this and do the sanctum instead. Oh man, this is brutal. We are not going to make it far. There's a trap. I'm going to roll to disarm the trap. Disarm the trap, my good little gnome. So 2 is normal damage, which is just 2. So we go down to 3. And we're going to fight a watcher. We're getting quite close to the end of the playthrough, I will say. 7 HP. I have 0 energy. I lose 1 energy before combat begins, but I have 0 energy. So I'm still at 0 energy. Now it's my turn to attack. I'm going to use 1 energy, and I'm going to move my energy back up. Now that might seem unfair, but here's my interpretation. The sight of the Watcher normally really freaks you out and you would lose energy, but I was already so lacking energy that, almost on death's door, that when I saw him, it had no effect. But then, after I saw his horrifying visage, I remembered I had a chocolate bar. I pull it out, I eat it. But this is, again, all after he's already tried his best to scare me. Anyways, I'm going to do normal energy, because that's all I can do. I could discard the turnip, but I want to keep it, I guess, as long as possible. That may be a mistake. That probably is a mistake. Unless I get really lucky here. Yeah, I think I need to discard the turnip. So I'm going to discard the turnip right away. I'm just going to literally do that now. So I go down from, I gain 3 energy, so I go from 1 to 4. I'm actually going to do a 2 energy attack. So I go down to, 4 minus 2 is 2. I'm going to roll. And I get 2 minus 1 is 1. Plus 5 is 6. He has 7 HP. Was the Sanctum the first thing I flipped over? I don't think so. I think the Old Wells are the first one, right? You guys can correct me in the comments. So we won't add the dagger modifier. And anyways, so 2 minus 1, 1 plus 5 is 6. He would have 1 damage anyways, so 7 minus 5 is 2, because his armor mitigates some damage. Now he attacks. May be dead here. Probably am. 5 minus 3 is 2, plus 1 damage is 3, and that is a kill, unless I have something I can do here. Unfortunately, I don't think so, so it looks like we might be dead. I mean, it's not, it looks like we are dead. We have collapsed. Our little gnome footpad, our little gnome rogue has collapsed and died in the dungeon, unfortunately. Didn't even give him a name. He's just lost in these mines or mountains. Or what was the backstory? There's a brother. Yeah, there's a brotherhood of the Red Cloth who are in the mines of the Black Mountains. So, anyways, that was cool. This is the second time I've played it. I have previously done a solo playthrough, not on camera, but that's basically how it runs. There's not a crazy amount of complexity, but it's kind of cool. You build these little locations. You have a character. You have items, places you explore, races and classes and HP tracking and all of this stuff. And it's also difficult. I haven't won yet. I mean, I've only played it twice. So that's a 0% win rate. But I will win one of these days. We did manage to get 1 shard. We were quite lucky with that. I bought this for, I think, around $15. There's if you just Google it, you can find the sort of print on demand website that makes these, because he's an indie designer. He makes some really cool games. And I have another game by him, which I may show next time. But that's that. Let's see, how long was this? About an hour. Slightly longer than it might take if I were just to, play the game without saying anything. But I hope it was cool. It was a failure. We got to level 3 of the dungeon, which I guess is not too far, but also not far enough. And I guess the really cool thing about this is, like the name on the tin says, haha, get it? Sorry, that was terrible. Everything does fit in this really nice small portable box, so it's something you could carry around in your backpack. It's really nice. I'm going to put these components in here, squared away, and notice how neatly everything fits. That's just so nice. So nice in a box. that was Tin Helm. Thanks for watching. Second video. Hope you guys are enjoying it. Even if no one watches, this is just a great excuse for me to get out and actually, play some board games, look at some RPG stuff that I might not normally look at. So, if you are watching, thank you for watching, and